Okay, so this is part two of part one that you just saw a few minutes ago. Pretty common sense. 1, 2, yada, yada, yada. What we need to do is we want to generate this JSON data. So we're going to probably just use Microsoft SQL for now. And I'm on a Mac, of course. So that's opening up this little tool here. And what we're going to do is see if I can connect to my default database. Which I don't know if I can. I may have to blank this part out while I go get the password, but let's see if I can get to it from here. Is this not even valid? I don't know the password. All right, hey everybody. So I'm now in my SQL Server database, and we're just going to create a new table. So let's see. Again, we're on the Mac, so when I say table, I mean database table, yada, yada, yada. So we're going to create one. If I have permissions to do this, because we might just use the med sites. If you've ever seen my TDM videos, I use those a lot. But what do we want here? So let's think about that for a second. We'll call this Tim's Demo 1. And the owner is going to be SA. What are my options? Okay, so we're good with that. We'll say create and give it a few seconds to create if I have permissions to do that. So we want to stick with the basics, right? So name, well, first we need an ID, name, and then let's see, name, ID, maybe a description. And then I guess that's all we need. Oh, maybe a timestamp. No, we'll use a timestamp from the other one. Yeah, that's fine. Maybe a details. Okay, just something simple. So that's going to be our detailed JSON file. So we'll call this one data underscore details. And then the next one, we're going to say data underscore values. And here we've got an ID. We'll call min, a max, value, and a timestamp. Okay, easy enough, right? So do we have our database? We do. So let's go to refresh. And I should see a Tim's if it refreshed. Tim's demo, that works. And tables, we're going to create 2 tables. New table. Now normally I would just do this in a SQL script, but we're just going to do it manually. Yeah, it doesn't generate scripts. Okay, in SQL Server, we should right click, say generate scripts. But again, I'm going to do this manually, which I would never do. Normally, I would just use, I'm just write out the script and run it. But in this case, because you're watching, we're going to do it manually. Now, I would never name it this either, lowercase, but I'm doing this because of the JSON file. And I want to keep everything lowercase. So this is ID. Okay, and we're going to make it our primary key, which means we can't allow nulls. And that's why it's good to do it this way. Even though it's generating it for us here, we can just copy and paste, but we're getting all these links and everything that we need. So we're going to add a column. This one's going to be just name. Again, we're going to keep it lowercase. String, oops, sorry, I guess varchar, what's our options here for strings? This is SQL Server, so we'll just name it varchar. And we do not allow nulls. We're going to add another one. This one's going to be description. I guess we can just do that. That's fine. And that's going to be as well. We'll go down here. We'll name this varchar as well. I want to make this one a max. You know what? We'll just say 100. Oops, I can't edit there. That's odd. All right, so can I edit from here? Yes, I can. Okay. My name shouldn't go over 100, but we'll name this one max. Okay, because we don't want a limitation on that one. And then we're going to say add another column, and we're going to make this one details. Okay. I hope these names don't mess us up later. What I was thinking is maybe we should put some kind of suffix on them. Can I just not type that in? That's odd. Okay, so let's click on that. Now maybe I could type it in. Yeah, I can. Okay. All right. And we'll allow nulls on both of those. So let's see what we've got. So integer. I don't like this character, but that's fine. We should be okay with that. Do we need a description type? We could put a description, just have more in our JSON, but I think we're okay. So let's go ahead and create this. How do I create this in this tool? Normally I would be using data grid. If you watch any of my videos, I'll talk about JetBrains 24/7. I'm a huge fan of them, and I like data grid because it's not database specific. It runs on all databases. But in this case, we're specifically doing SQL Server, so Microsoft SQL Server. Primary key. That's good. But the question is, how do I run this now? Is it already done? I figured there'd just be a button that says run, but I don't see it. What's this do? And we'll just say update database. Okay, let's see what this does for us. All right, so we have our table. We'll pump some data in this shortly, so we should be good there. Selecting top, there is none. Okay, so let's go ahead and create our next one. And again, I'm going to use the UI I said a few seconds ago. I would never do it this way. I'm going to actually call this, well, ID is fine. I want that to be consistent. And this is the primary key. Can I not tab that? I guess not. Okay. And next column, we're going to name this one. I'm going to name this metric. No, I'm not, because we're going to do this in our code. So we're going to name that. I want this to be a big, oh, I don't know if there's a big int. Let's see what our integers are. Maybe a float, because I want decimal points. Maybe I don't want decimal points. Let's see. You know what? It's fine. What if we just call it integer and be done with that? Well, real is a big int, right? Can I pick real? The problem is I don't know if the JSON file is going to know what that is. Yeah, let's try it. If it breaks, it breaks. All right, so add column and then max. And I want this to be a real number. That's what the real stands for if you don't know. Floats, decimal points, right? Integer has limitations. Don't remember exactly what it is. Okay, do small int. Is there a big int? Oh, there is a big int. So let's just change this one to big int. There we go. Okay. And now allow nulls. Yeah, I can allow nulls on min and max. What I can't allow all nulls on is the value. And that's going to be a big int. Now this will fail in some cases. And I'm not going to allow nulls there. Add column. This is a timestamp. I can't use the name timestamp, right? So we'll call it time range. Okay. And then I'll make this a timestamp. Date and time. Okay, so that's fine. And that can't be null either. Okay. So let's try to publish this and see if we have any errors. Okay, update database. Okay, cool. So what we're gonna do now is go to TDM, and I'm probably gonna have to stop the video for a second because I gotta find my passwords. Okay, so now I'm over here in TDM. I'm on my remote server. I think that's the right password. We'll find out in a few seconds. Yes. So I'll have to pause you again in a few minutes to get the other password again to connect to the database, yada, yada, yada. But I'm going to walk through this real quick. This is not a TDM demo. It's just a quick and easy way. And you may use, like Python has, Faker, I think is the name of the plugin. There's a lot of ways to get synthetic data, but I want to do a massive amount. So we're going to call this one Tim's Data Project. And this is to generate massive amount of data. Okay, save. Now the truth is I can use TDM to produce JSON scripts as well. We're just going to use it this way for kicks and giggles because I'm trying to keep this not tool specific other than Amazon. But what did I just name it? Tim. Okay, oops, I saw it, but it went away. Let's say Tim. Click. So what we're going to do, we're going to model our data, but first I got to create a profile, and this is probably where I'm going to have to cut the video again because I don't know the password again. All right, so let's do that. Okay, so we're back over here now, and I'm going to talk to you what I just did, how to cut the video, so you couldn't steal half my stuff, right? So I just named this one as a connection profile. Tim's create bulk data. We go down here. This is our server we're trying to hit. Our port So I want to fill in as much of this information as possible, so TDM doesn't have to search for a lot. For an example, I know the port, default port for SQL is 1433. I know this is the database we just created a few seconds ago. The default schema for Microsoft SQL is DBO, my username and password. The one thing about TDM is you have to put this trusted certificate in it, T equals true. I went down and I tested it. It looks like it connected, so we're gonna go ahead and hit save. All right, cool. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go and create a model. So we're gonna create an environment. I'm just gonna give it 2 seconds, say go, and we're gonna say gen data. It doesn't really have to be any name. This is gonna be Tim's bulk table, and the connection profile is the one we're just gonna create, and we're gonna hit save. That's gonna create that. And since that gets done, now we're gonna go create the model for that. So we're gonna scan the data model. This shouldn't take long because we only have the 2 tables, right? I'm okay with the default name. I don't care about anything else. I just want it to scan. Now at this point, I'm not creating a relationship, or do we want to? You know, we probably would want to, but that's okay. We'll deal with that later. So I'm drinking coffee. So I was thinking we'd create a relationship if we wanted to have TDM create the JSON for us. And that gets kind of tricky, but at the same time, I'm not sure that's what we want to do, just because we're going to do a lot of this manually ourselves. Keep in mind, this is just the RZ. We're just prepping data here. Now this is going to give us the 2, oh, what's that new table name? Oh, we didn't name that one, did we? Well, aren't we bad? So let's go name that one real quick and see if it will pick up the name for us. It may or may not. And not a big deal. Again, we can do it in our code. I'm just checking, make sure I didn't leave anything here. So we're going to call this our metrics table. Okay, that should have been better, and we're going to publish it and see if that works. Okay, so I've read, I don't care, update the database. It just said, hey, you're making changes. Are you sure you want to do that? Yes, I do, because that's a very bad name. Okay, there we go. So now we have that named. So now let's go back over here. Let's go back into TDM. And now we're going to rescan our model. So because that name doesn't exist anymore, we'll say next. And now it's going to rescan and give it 2 hours to finish. I'm just kidding, it doesn't take it long because the tables are empty and there's only 2 tables. So again, this is not a TDM presentation, but if you want to know how this works, I have videos on this. Again, or just ping me. This is just the tool that we're using to help us do this quicker. So I know it doesn't feel quicker, but I promise you it is. Okay, so here we go. Let's dig in. So now we've got our 2 tables. Awesome. We've got our ID as a primary key there and a primary key there. I guess for this sake of having fun, let's just go and create a relationship. Edit relationships. And we're going to create one here. So we'll say new relationship, column ID, and this table is going to equal, we're going to link that to metrics table. Yeah, that's fine. And the column to that is going to equal the ID. Yeah, I guess we're okay with that. Let's say done. So now we have our details as linked to our metrics. Okay, cool. That's exactly what we want. So let's go to data generation. Let's create a generator, a new generator. Oh, I'm sorry. We got to bring in our tables. So let's go look at our objects. We're going to register objects. We're going to do table, and it's going to know the 2 that we were looking at. So let's go ahead and do this. Schema, again, default is DBO. And now it should see our tables. Okay, we're good. And register. Okay, so we're going to register our tables. Now the sad thing is I'm now going to go pull this up into the thick client because I like the data generator in the thick client. But what we're going to do is at least start here. So I'm going to say generators. And now I'm going to say new generator, and I'm just going to call this make bulk data. This is for Tim. We're gonna, this is just general, no SQL here, even though this kind of is going to be no SQL because we're making data lake data. I I don't think TDM cares, to be honest with you. So let's go into here. Let me rephrase that. It does care for using TDM to do the tasks, but I'm not. I'm just going to create data. So what I'm going to do for each one of these is I'm going to go ahead and start this by generating the ID. And again, I have videos on this. This is not the purpose of this. You'll see why I'm doing this in a few minutes. If I add data, it's easier for the thick client to pick it up. Okay, so there we go. And I'm just going to stick it with there. As soon as I tab off, it's going to save. It's in the process of saving now. And now we're going to go to the thick client. Okay, so we're going to log in GT Data Maker. I just feel like I have more real estate. It's kind of like coffee. I feel like it works better if it's hot, not cold. I know that's not true, but to me it is, so who cares? Mayor might. And yes, I use the default password. It's not important because you can't get to the server. That's why I'm logged into the server and not hidden it public. All right, so we'll go in here, projects. Let's go to my projects. I can get to it there too, but I'll click this little icon. And so let's give it a few minutes. And now you see why I'm cutting these videos, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to go up here to Tim's data project right here, this one. And if I dig in a little deeper, now that I started this on the portal, you can see that we can finish it over here. If we want to get to the actual data model, which is in here, right there. So I'm going to edit and edit data. And once I start this, I'm going to end the video because generating, we can do like 25,000 or 30,000 rows of data. So name, if I double click now, I can go in here. This is what I like over here. Now I have the same thing in the portal. I'll show you in a few minutes. To me, it just doesn't feel like it's, I don't know, correct. So well, it is correct. I'm sorry. I just don't feel like I have enough real estate. Sorry, I was drawing a blank. Because I was thinking we're pulling back a name. This is a person's name. So I'm going to look for a seed list. And I don't know how much data is in our seed list table. So we're probably going to have duplicates, but that's okay. We don't really care if the name has duplicates. We care more about the value and the data than we do the duplicate data. So here we go. Now let's go down to just a name. So we could do first name title, gender. Again, I don't think we really care. There's not 30,000, there's 13,000. Do we care? Let's just bring that in. We'll say 0 on our nulls. And I'm going to grab this because I know that there is a last name. Oops. Last name. We're going to run this and give it a few hours to click. Not really, but it should have already brought something back. First, okay, so it's still trying. There we go. Okay, cool. So that works for me. So I'm going to hit save. And now description and details. So let's do something kind of fun here. And we're going to say this person likes to watch, and then we'll go down to our seed list, values, you'll see what I'm getting at in a few minutes. There's a lot of data here, so we're just looking for data, right? That's all we're doing. So let's give it a few minutes. Okay, likes to watch, so there's Disney movies, so we'll plop that in there. Oh, you know what? There's films. I'd rather do films. There's more of those anyway. So let's give it a few seconds. Just remember that's how you spell that, which is pretty common sense, but you never know. Can I change now? Oh, I can. Okay, go. So no nulls. And let's run this. So what this is going to do, it took that first name, likes to watch Academy Dinosaur. Okay, that's kind of cool. So that's our script. So that's our details. Our description. Actually, I think it's details. So let's just copy this. And we're going to do something still kind of cool. Okay, that's there. So now in our details, let's go in here. that is going to be this. So that's going to be so-and-so likes to watch blah while playing and again, I'm just coming up with some gibberish, right? So we can have something here because I want my details to be longer than my description. So if you kind of follow the string, I'm taking the first name here, likes to watch blah while playing. And the funny thing is I actually have a video games, computer games. Here we go. Now let's see what else is in here. And I'm hoping this makes it random enough that it's job titles. Just interesting things we can add. We could say they're taking drugs, right? At a certain airport. Moody's ratings. Let's see. We're just kind of, and yes, we're just kind of wasting time with this. But now we could say that 0 with, and we can add another seed list here. And the fact that it's random, that's what's a random. We can do sequence, which means in order, but I don't want it to be in order. I want it to be random. Now let's give it a few seconds, pop back up our seed list. And you see why I like using TDM, because it's kind of, like say they're looking for card parts. Oh, we could say works for a company. It's okay. There's only 400 of those. But again, we're looking for that randomness. We'll go down here. We'll randomize the top 100 most used last names. Okay. So 0. And we'll put another first name in there with, okay, that should be first name. Whoops. Wait, did we do that right? Yeah, I think we did. Okay, so with first, if I RST first name, because this is the most common last name, but we have to put a 0 for our percent null because we don't want any nulls. And that should give us some, at least somewhat of a sentence, right? So that person likes to watch that while playing Battlefield series. Where did series come from? I guess it's part of the game. So the Battlefield series with this person. Okay, cool. That's good enough for me, right? So we're gonna hit save. And now what we're gonna do is add, oops, I probably should have saved that one. Let's make sure, let's see if it, hopefully it saved. It did, okay, cool. So save, just to verify. Okay, and now we've got some data there. And now what we're gonna do is in our metrics table, we've got our next ID. Yeah, because we want these IDs not to be kind of linked. That's fine. So min, we need to put some numeric values in here. So that's going to be a random set of numbers. So let's look for a random range. And we want it to be from 0, maybe to 10,000. Okay. That's fine. And that's fine. So our min value is going to be that, but our max value has to be more than that, right? So numeric is going to be, let's do round value sequence. Maybe we should want to do an add, right? So we'll do an add, and that's going to be our min plus 1, and our max is going to be 1,000. Okay. How does that look? Okay, cool. So that should be more than our min. So we're okay with that. Now, our value can be a totally different set of numbers. So what we're going to do again is go to our numeric, a range from 0 to max. Can we do that? Yeah, we can. Okay, so that way it doesn't go over our max value. I didn't like the min value for some reason, but that's okay. And then the time range. Ooh, oh, man, I didn't mean to do that. Let's see, let's go to time range here. Let's make sure I didn't break it still. Okay, good. We're good. So let's go ahead and hit save. Now our time range has to be a date. Let's see, a random date. We could say between, well, why don't we just do a random, because I don't want it to always be the same, right? So date, string, date, time. So this one's kind of cool. We could say, give me an average date, minimum age. This is just going to give us a really cool range of date. So between the ages of 5 and 95, based off of C date. And that would just give us a, so C date is the date that we publish. Oh, sorry, there's a current date is what that means. And there's a lot of variables over here that you can use, but what does that give us? Okay, so that's fine. Okay, so there we go. So let's see what some of this looks like if I publish it. Okay, so I'm going to publish to target. So our target is going to be our tables. So give it just a few seconds, and I'm just going to publish maybe 10 to get us started. So I'm going to immediately, if we have duplicates, just continue. And if we have duplicates here, just, I need the same amount, right? So I guess prompt, let's see what that does. Okay, so that's done. You probably heard me gulp because I'm drinking coffee. Let's go see what it looks like. So now we're over here. There we go. So we have some details, we have some relationships. This person likes to do all this. There's only 10 there. This one, if we grab this one, we should have a range set of numbers and dates, which we do. They're not consistent. That's pretty cool. We don't have seconds, but that's okay. Be nice if we had seconds, but that's okay. Our range, our min and our max. So our max is always bigger than our min. It's what it looks like. And our value kind of falls between, no, it doesn't fall between the min and max, does it? Because 701 is definitely not bigger than max, but is smaller than min. So I wonder if I can reverse that logic. Let's go look at that real quick. So if we exit, I'm really surprised that didn't let me do the min being the beginning. I figured the range would work, but let's see if I can do a min here. My max is going to be min. Oh, if we do add min plus 10. What would that give us? Okay, so that's a little better. So what if I take this and let's save. Now let's go look for our max again real quick. Okay, so here, Control V. What if we say, instead of doing it that way, what if we say it is the average? So here, min, if we say it's the value plus, you know what, we're just going to fake the max. It's fine, because I don't even think we're going to use that data. I'm probably putting way too much thought into this. And so let's just see what that gives us. All right, that's fine. Save. So what we're going to do is we're going to save this. We're going to publish it one more time. And then I'm going to cut the video because it's going too long and just let that run now that you saw how it works. So let's go ahead and delete this. And let's just execute this. And I'm going to cut this video and add a massive amount of data, and then we'll come back and look at it. Okay, so let's do this together. And then, like I said, I'm going to cut the video now and then come back and we'll view the data.